Good afternoon. My name is Alena Shautsova. I am an immigration attorney from Brooklyn, New York. In today's Legally Speaking seminar, I would like to talk to you about asylum and specifically what to do if you received a denial after your asylum interview. Many of you are thinking about filing for asylum or have filed for asylum and are waiting for the interview. Many of you had high hopes for the interview, or maybe you are hoping for the interview. The truth is that unfortunately, there are many denials at the interview, and at times it's not your fault. What's happening in the United States currently is that asylum laws are changing, and they may be changed or they are changing as your asylum application is pending. For example, you come to the interview and the officer doesn't know which specific regulation to apply and how to answer your question, whether or not your asylum claim has merits. Because just yesterday, Attorney General, for example, issued a new opinion stating that family is no longer considered to be a social group only if your case would fall into very, very limited circumstances at will. And that's why you will receive a denial, which asylum officers will call referral, not a denial. So let's say you received a denial. What to do? Well, in most cases, you will be transferred to court, where you will be able to present your case in front of immigration judge. It's true that asylum officer's decision is not a complete denial. It's a referral to court, meaning that you will be placed into removal proceedings if at the time of the decision by asylum office, negative decision by asylum office, you do not have any lawful status in the United States, or your status has not been revoked, because it may happen too. So when you receive your decision, it's very important to screen it for the reasons that were stated by the officer as to why your case was referred. So it's called a referral notice, and in the front page and the second page there will be explanation as to why. It's going to say something like this. It can be it's going to say that you so and such and such date submitted your application for asylum, and for the following reasons the office cannot grant it because. So all the reasons I would divide on reasons related to the credibility and reasons that are not related to the credibility. So if your reason is related to the credibility, I will submit to you that it will be, you have to exercise caution when you're going to be in immigration court. You will have to prepare to address that issue very well. Very often the officer says that you were not found credible, and it's a problem, or they're going to say there were inconsistencies, material inconsistencies or lack of details in your testimony, which also can be a problem, but it's less so than credible. Because the credibility issue, if it puts out there, the judge will look at you with suspicion already, right? And you will have to be able to remember what is that and why the officer decided that you were not credible, because very often the asylum office will not specifically mention why you were found not credible. And you will have to prepare for that hearing with the immigration judge when the time comes very well. Why does it happen? Are we all liars, people who go for asylum or interview? Of course not. It happens usually because people get stressed out. People forget things. People naturally tend sometimes to try to make their case stronger, adding facts that they may not have mentioned in their asylum affidavit. And that's why they would receive such a heavy determination of lack of credibility in a referral notice. So if you have that, remember that you need to make sure you're going to address that issue. You will have to prepare for the challenge of your credibility in court by the government. Okay, that's very important. So how are you going to do that? Well, first of all, I advise you to obtain notes from your asylum interview prepared by the asylum officer during your interview. That's very important. Also, I advise you to review all the materials you submitted. Think about other filings you may have done with immigration to see if anywhere there was a conflicting information. And you should really probably work with a lawyer to identify the possible problematic areas, okay, of your case. So if it was not credibility, then what happened? Why would you be denied? Well, at times you get a denial or referral just because of the technical legal issues. The office is going to say that, the asylum office is going to say that you have not met the definition of a refugee, meaning that you haven't established that you belong to a particular social group or that you were persecuted on account of your political views. Or for example, they're going to say, that's not political views why you were persecuted. It was criminal activities that is bad in your country and everywhere else. Or they may say that you haven't established that you fall into 1 year deadline exception, and that's why we cannot grant you asylum even if we wanted to. Something like that. This, I would call them legal issues. How do you approach those? Well, obviously, unfortunately, you will have to do lots of research, case law, to address those issues. You will hire an attorney to do that for you. Because frankly speaking, if a legal determination is placed of that sort in your file, only a judge will be able to determine whether or not you in fact qualify for asylum. And to do that, the judge will refer to, you guessed it right, to case law, Board of Immigration Appeals decisions, or case law in your district, which is different from district to district. A court in New York may have a decision about a case that's going to be different from a court in, let's say, Florida. So it's important to know your district and what the courts say about similar issues in your district in previous decisions. So when you have a denial, you study the reasons and you get prepared to address them. Okay? There is more to it sometimes going on. Maybe your witnesses didn't appear. Sometimes you also have referrals for complete technical reasons. Let's say you ask for an adjournment. You stated that you have additional evidence that you would like to submit, and you asked for this adjournment once, and they gave you a new date, and you asked for it a second time, and they said they will think about it, but instead they sent you a referral notice. It happens too. So those technical denials, completely technical denials, of course, are very upsetting because you were not even heard, and they basically deprived you of a chance of being heard by the asylum officer and save you all this time and money and stress from immigration court. That but that's the reality of the United States asylum system. And I hope this video was helpful, and please comment about what questions you have. You also can submit your comments and requests for topics that you would like me to talk about through my website, and I'm going to post a link for submission of the inquiries in the comment to this video. Thank you.